So, last night, the Cavaliers lost to the Sixers in a game that Philadelphia led wire to wire. This came just a couple nights after Cleveland needed every last second and a triple-double from LeBron just to beat the Nets. And look, none of this would mean much in, say, December or even January. But this is March, and the playoffs start in less than 6 weeks. Right now, Cleveland and Philadelphia would actually play each other in the first round. And BPI says the Cavs only have a 44% chance of winning that series. A 44% chance of getting out of the first round. Of course, now is the part of the discussion where we say, cliche number one, they still have time to figure it out. And we say that because it is a fact. They do. But even that is complicated. Just 4 days ago, Coach Ty Lue said the Cavs' offense was, quote, too predictable because he hadn't had time to teach his new players the team's sets. Then last night, Ty went in the other direction, saying the offense needs to go back to being simpler because the new players were overthinking things out on the court, and that was the problem. The Cavs are also still waiting for Kevin Love to come back, and Love could be a huge factor for them. Although, again, his return will take some adjusting to. By the way, if Cleveland does make it out of the first round, right now they would play Boston next. BPI says they only have a 23% chance of winning that series. And Toronto, their chances of winning a series against the Raptors sits at only 9% statistically. And this is where we bring in, of course, cliche number two. Yeah, right, but they have LeBron James. And that is absolutely correct. That is a game changer, something that predictive stats like BPI, they just don't account for. But it also brings up a bit of a chicken and egg issue for Cleveland, which is that they only have LeBron James officially for a couple more months before he can opt out this summer. And if the Cavs do get knocked out in, say, the second round, well, it is going to be hard to see LeBron staying. That is why we have had a full week of LeBron to Philadelphia rumors, the billboards, the quotes back and forth. That is why last night seemed like just as much of an audition as it did a basketball game. Why afterward Joel Embiid posted this to his IG. Trust the process, question mark. Always a great time playing against the best to ever play the game. Hashtag Summer 2018 goals. Now look, Joel is, of course, one of the NBA's most playful social media mischief makers. And the Cavs situation, still extremely fluid. We still just don't know yet how good they actually are. We still don't know whether last night was just an outlet for some fun speculation or a sign of things to come. But we do know time is running short to find out.
It is.
And Tracy, we don't normally get like too hot stove on the show, but we have been having all of these juicy green room commercial break conversations about what it would take for LeBron to actually end up in Philadelphia. So I want to let the people, it's Friday. We'll just you know, hang out. We'll just chat a little bit, let them in. There are issues, obviously, from here to there. You, Trace, you've been saying that there's some issues here. Tell the people what you think your issues are.
Well, I'm sorry, LeBron will not be going and joining Philly in this offseason. Let's fast forward. You know,
that was just definitive.
No, let's fast forward. Let's say they do get put out in the playoffs, second round or whatever. They don't make it to the Eastern Conference. I don't see him staying unless something miraculously happens before he decides to move on. Right? Why would he go to Philadelphia when they already have a guy that plays the same role as LeBron James?
He has the ball in his hands.
Right. He can't shoot a lick. So if LeBron, he can't shoot. I mean, I'm just being honest. He's a phenomenal player, but he cannot shoot. Why would LeBron go and join those guys? It's going to take away from who Ben Simmons is. And LeBron is going to, stand in the corner and watch Ben Simmons handle the ball and go to work, or vice versa like that? That won't work. These guys do not complement each other on the basketball court. I'm sorry, it just won't. I don't see it.
Joel Embiid is so good.
Yeah, but Joel Embiid can't stop Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Draymond.
Okay, but you know
KD.
who could? But you know who could?
Who?
Like, if Philly were to be able to take, I don't know, Dario Saric, Markelle Fultz, maybe their first-round draft pick, and call up somebody maybe like in San Antonio, say, what would it take to get Kawhi Leonard?
Well, you brought up in your pre-show chat, you brought up Paul George.
Yep.
We'll get to Kawhi in a minute, but you brought up Paul George. Give everyone your Paul George theory. This is the time I'm dumping out on television all the chats we have in private.
If we're talking about who is a better fit, which is what I agree with you, he doesn't fit with Ben Simmons right now. Paul George is exactly what the Sixers need. Like if Paul George wants to go to a contender in the Eastern Conference, that has a role he would fit perfectly into. That is the Philadelphia 76ers.
I agree.
I know he's from LA. I know the Lakers need a leader. They need a star. There's Oklahoma City where he and Russ are buddies.
We're getting away from it because we talk about Paul George instead of LeBron James.
Okay, so here is then the other wrinkle, and this is where Kawhi comes in, and this is where we get back to LeBron. We know Kawhi Leonard and the Spurs have had an unusual for them amount of friction, right? And that the question this summer will be, does he sign an extension or do they want to end up trading him? What if you made it more attractive to trade him if you're Philadelphia? You do send a package, but Ramona, what if you send a package that includes Ben Simmons?
Oh,
and that's how
you don't need to do all that.
Well, no.
You don't need to do all that.
Well, I'm not saying you don't do all of it. So maybe you'd send Ben Simmons. Maybe you send that first round pick that they got from they're getting from the Lakers or something like that. And now you've got Kawhi there and no Ben Simmons, and then you're LeBron with Joel Embiid. And does that Tracy McGrady get you past the Golden State Warriors?
Oh, that's a good one, but I don't see it happening.
I mean, I don't think Philly would. If you brought up Ben Simmons' name in any kind of trade conversation, I think they hang up the phone.
Get rid of Ben Simmons at this age.
By the way,
there's no way you could trade Ben Simmons.
No way advocating. Hey, in a vacuum,
I don't care if
Philly
it's
should
for
get rid of Ben
LeBron.
Simmons. I would never say that. I am just. This is Friday. We are airing out all the laundry we've been having on this show in the back room, in the hallway, during the commercial break all week. And one of those scenarios has been, well, all right, well, what if Kawhi got there via Ben Simmons trade? And then if you're LeBron and Joel Embiid, what does that team look like?
Well,
I mean, it's a great team, but go ahead.
Chris Paul did what I think we have not really seen anyone in his position do, which is say, I want to go play someplace else. I'm a free agent. But if you want to get something for me, and if I want to make the salary that I'm currently making, I'm willing to pick up my player option, and you can do a trade. Both Paul George and LeBron are in that position. They both could be free agents.
Right.
They could pick up their player option.
A player option situation?
Yeah.
I know LeBron is.
And they both are in that situation where they could say the same thing to their teams. I don't see Paul George doing that. He would need, it doesn't seem like the right option for him.
No.
But if there's a place you want to be, if you want to make a certain salary, and that there's a workaround now to help create your quote-unquote super team, and there are teams with assets like Boston, like Philadelphia, that have young players and assets that could make something like that work in the same way that the Houston Rockets did with Chris Paul.
It's interesting.
It is, but
There are creative general managers out there.
It's interesting.